Hello. In this video, we look at Ratana Sutta, verse 12. Vanapagumbe yatha pussitagge gimhanamase pratamasmin gimmehe tatupaman dhamma varang adesayi nibbanagamim paramang hitaya idampi buddhe ratanam panitang etena satchena suvattihutu. I'll call up the text now. Vanapagumbe yatha pussitagge gimhanamase pratamasmin gimhe tatupaman dhammavarang adesayi nibbanagamim paramang hitaya idampi buddhe ratanam panitang etena satchena suvattihutu. Here we have the correlatives yatha, as, and then tata, thus, in that way. So just as, yatha, just as, or just like. In a vanapagumbe, in a forest thicket. Oops, I've lost my text boxes again. And again. So, just as, so I just have to do without text boxes. It keeps deleting them for me. I put them back and it deletes them again. Just separate them a bit here. Vanapagumbe, sorry, in the forest thicket, just as in the forest thicket. Pusitagge is an adjective qualifying the forest thicket. It's something like a blossom-tipped forest thicket, which means that you've got a thicket of trees in the forest. And the agga, there's agra in Sanskrit, agga in Pali, the tip or the end of all of the shoots or the twigs and the branches of the trees are pusita, in other words, blossoming. It's from the same root from which we get pushpa in Sanskrit, which is pupa in Pali, which is the word we have, for example, in the offerings of flowers, pupa and kusuma. The pupa is more has the meaning of flower, kusuma more has the meaning of blossom, but there's no strict division between them. So this would then mean the Pusitagge Vanapagumbe in the blossom-tipped forest thicket. The Pusitagga is a possessive compound, meaning having tips that are blossomed in bloom. Gimhana mase, gimhana, so gimha means heat. Gimhana, either heat or hot, but they're essentially the same word, but varieties of the same word. So Gimhana Mase, Masa meaning a month. So Gimhana Mase in the heat month, but in the Pratamasmin Gimhe, Pratama first, locative Pratamasmin in the first, Gimhe heat. So in the first heat, Gimhana Mase in the warm month. So it is just as the tips of the twigs and the branches blossom in the first heat of the warm month. So immediately after winter, we come to the warm part of the year, and in the first warmth of that period, then the, the tips of the twigs become blossomed. Tatupamang dhammavarang adesayi. Tata upamang dhammavarang adesayi. So adesayi is the aorist, the standard past tense form from our root dish, Sanskrit or Vedic dish, um, deshayati, Pali deseti, to show, and then usually in a Buddhist context it means to teach. It's the same root as the Latin dic, meaning to say, and then also to indicate. To indicate is to show. So adesai and indicator, etymologically, virtually the same word. So adesai, he taught the tatupamam, thus example, or thus simile, with that as a simile. Dhammavarang Adesai, he taught the best of Dhammas, the Dhammavara, Vara, and we'll see quite a bit of it, I think, in the next verse. Yes, Vara, Vara, Vara. We see quite a bit of that word in the next verse. So when it appears as the second member of a compound, it most commonly means the best of something, literally choice. So the Dhamma choice, the choicest of the Dhammas, the best of Dhamma. So Dhamma Varanga Desai, he taught the best of Dhamma. So with the blossoming tips of the twigs as an example, Upamang, Dhamma Varanga Desai, he taught the best of Dhamma. Um, Nibbana Gaming Paramang Hitaya. The Nibbana Gaming the Parama, which is cognate with our word paramount, the supreme Nibbana Gaming, from the root gum, to go, the supreme Nibbana going, in other words, the supreme way of getting to Nibbana, Hitaya, for the good, for the general good of people. I'd been, in a way, slightly more comfortable if I'd seen, instead of Paramang Paramaya Hitaya, or just Parama-Hitaya. But here we've got a Paramam, um, which is an accusative, or a masculine or feminine accusative, or a neuter, um, neuter nominative, or accusative. It doesn't agree with Hitaya. So Nibbana Gaming Paramang, being strictly grammatical, we can construe Paramang with Nibbana Gaming, the supreme Nibbana going, and Hitaya for the general good. If it had been Paramaya Hitaya, for the supreme good, or Paramahitaya, which would mean the same as Paramaya Hitaya, it would have been a bit easier to parse. Idampi buddhe ratanam panitang. This is the same as we've had several times now. This is the exquisite jewel in the Buddha. Etena satchena suvatti hotu. Sorry, I accidentally thought I was pressing pause. I pressed the wrong button. Control. Now, this word pagumba, locative pagumbe, call up iPad for you, look at it. Um, So we find it more commonly with a pa in front of it. It's in Sanskrit. Oops, sorry. In Sanskrit, the word is gulma, meaning thick, as in thick or dense, and also used to meaning a thicket, as a thicket of trees, exactly the same as here. It that same gulma comes into Latin as a globus, which we have a globe, meaning a ball, or originally meant a condensed mass of something. You roll something into a ball. So by phonetic mutation, from gulma in Sanskrit, it became gulma in Pali. And entertainingly, gulma, gumba, Latin globus, the same word has come into English as a clump, clumping together, coming together in a globe or a ball, a thick thing, a gulma, a gumba. So the Vanapagumba is a forest clump. That's meaning in a clump of trees in a forest. Let me get back to the text now. Here we are. So we'll run through this once more. So yatha, just as, Vanapagumbe, in the forest thicket, Pussitage Vanapagumbe, in the blossom-tipped forest thicket, Patamasmin Gimhe, in the first warmth, Gimhana Mase, in the heat month, that's the first of the warm months after the winter. Tata Dhammavarang Adesai, Tata Upamang, thus Upamang by way of analogy, by way of simile, Dhammavarang Adesai, he taught the most excellent Dhamma, Nibbana Gaming, leading to Nibbana, Paramanghitaya. And I've explained my difficulty over that. Bhikkhu Bodhi has translated this one as for the supreme welfare, construing it as I would like to be able to do, as if Parama was an adjective qualifying Hitaya. Whether poetic license has been taken here, making Paramanghitaya instead of Paramahitaya or Paramahitaya, I don't know. It could well be, I suppose, that the poet intended to make this a compound, Paramahitaya, but inserted the M to make a long vowel, Paramanghitaya. Paramahitaya would be, so to speak, a normal compound. Paramanghitaya is something that a poet could slightly bend the rules and do. But so let's follow Bhikkhu Bodhi's interpretation and take this parama as an adjective qualifying hitaya. So with that as a simile, Dhammavaram Desa, he taught the best of Dhamma, leading to Nibbana for the supreme good. So I'll read it through once more before we wind this up. Vanapagumbe yatha pussitagge gimhana mase pratamasmin gimhe Tatupamam Dhammavarang Adesayi Nibbanagamim Paramanghitaya Idampi Buddhe Ratanang Panitang Etena Satchena Suvattihotu. And that's it on this video.